Hello residents of MeepleTown, welcome back to another mini review where we were going to be looking at The White Castle, which is the follow-up game to a game that I quite loved a couple years ago, Red Cathedral. This game is quite a bit different though. You are going to be drafting these dice, taking the dice, put them onto different action spaces, and then trying to get your different meeples out onto the board. You have 3 different types of meeples. They're going to go out to different areas and do different things. But in this game, you're collecting Daimo, you're collecting money, you're collecting all these different resources, spending these resources to be able to complete these different tasks at the different locations. Now, an interesting part of this game is that with the dice drafting, you have to make a choice. Do I want to take from the left side of the bridge or from the right side of the bridge based on 3 different colors? Now, the colors are going to match up with the different actions that you're going to take at the spaces, but the side of the bridge matters because if you take from the side with the higher dice pip value, then you're going to place that onto the location and you'll get the difference in the pip location in your die in money. So you're going to gain money. Now, if you go to the other side, then you're going to have to pay money because you're putting a pip value of lesser value. Potentially, not always. That's not always going to be the case, but usually that's going to be the case. And then with that, though, you're going to be able to run your lighthouse engine for your board. So there's interesting decisions to be made there. Also, there's lots of different paths that you might want to take. You might want to go and send warriors out and spend most of your efforts putting people in the White Castle, and then using your warriors to be able to get points that way. On the other side of it, you might want to go with the gardener route, where you're going to get points based on your gardeners that you have over by the bridges, and that's also going to give you different points values and different things that you can do throughout the game as well. And then you're always almost probably going to want to go up into the White Castle, moving your characters up in there, giving you points, giving you bonuses as you go. So many different things going on in this game in the sense of, which locations I'm going to go to, this thing triggering this thing, and then also triggering this thing, and I get to gain a card, add to my engine, lots of different moving pieces there, but the game doesn't feel very heavy. It actually feels kind of that same weight as Red Cathedral, which for me is a big positive. Red Cathedral, again, is a game that I absolutely love, and I still think I probably prefer that game, but this one gives you some of those same feels, even though the gameplay is vastly different. It still makes you feel kind of the same way, making those interesting decisions with also a game that's not a super heavy weight game, and I love that about this one. So if in the scale of the play, a pass, play, or purchase, I'm going to put this firmly in the purchase category, assuming that you like Red Cathedral. If you don't like Red Cathedral, you might still like this game, even though it has nothing to do with it. You might still really enjoy the play of this, but again, it gives me some of those same feels of a mid-weight game with lots of moving pieces, interesting decisions to make. So putting this one in the purchase category, the biggest flaw that I have from the game, my biggest frustration, is the size of the box. I like the size, but there's a lot packed in here, and it's difficult to pack up the box, especially once you get those bridges put together and then trying to stuff them back in there. Makes you feel like you're going to break it, even though that hasn't happened for me yet. So anyway, that's a purchase for me for the White Castle. Thanks for coming down to MeepleTown.
Thanks for joining us, and thanks to our Patreon supporters for making content like this possible. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, go to patreon.com/MeepleTown. To follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, find us at MeepleTown Games. Finally, to connect with us and other residents of MeepleTown, you can join Guild 3407 at BoardGameGeek.com. Until next time, thanks for coming down to MeepleTown.